Like, to be able to create the mirror of you to fill in all your gaps, it has to know every bit of you so that it can identify the gaps. And so I think that like it, but within it is a copy of you, and within it is the instructions to say, this is an imperfect human, fill its gaps, right? And so to be able to do that effectively, it has to know you and it has to be able to function as you. There's an interesting idea of that being able to proxy you in a professional sense. There's an interesting idea of that being able to proxy your advice to your children when you're dead, you know, and like, you know, that thing shows up at your funeral and says exactly what you would have said when someone says the eulogy. It's like, you know, fuck you. But there's I think I put that in the you know, the whatever the hell it was, 2151 chance to save mankind. That was like the first scene in that was a grandpa saying goodbye to his son next to a robot of his great 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 grandpa and his already dead grandmother. Like, those robots were around the kid's grandfather as his physical being was dying, and his own robot was right there next to him. Like, that was the scene, that first scene of that. And I think that that's, you know, I think that's a definite potential for reality. I think humans are interesting enough and are capable enough. You know, we only use 10% of our brain. We use even less of our capabilities. You know what I mean? Like, of that 10%, we probably only use 10% of what we're capable of within that. So it's like really like 1% of our brain is being reflected in what we actually do in the world. And I think that this robot could 10x us in that way. It might be able to 100x us in that way. It might be able to help us access 11%, 14%, 98% of our brain, and therefore bring 98% of our brain to bear on reality. Whereas I really truly believe today we're bringing 10% of 10% to it. And so I think there's tremendous opportunities for it. And, you know, both as a helper to help me fill the gaps, but also to interrogate my thoughts, to react to shit that happened. I mean, can you imagine being like 9 years old? Okay, here, real true story. I was 9 years old, 8 years old maybe. It was like my first day of second grade. I walk into, you know how when you show up to school, at least in like the 90s, when you showed up to school, they would just rally everyone in one room. It was like either the cafeteria, the auditorium, until like classes started. And they like rallied everyone to the auditorium. I walk in the room and this like sixth grade kid pantses me in front of the entire school on day one. Can you imagine? Can you imagine how helpful and transformative it would have been for me to be able to have that robot in that moment? That was like, dude, that was fucked. Just hear me out. Statistically speaking, that guy, I know that guy. I can see that guy. I can practically see that guy's future. That guy's going to be in jail in like 9 years. So joke's on him, right?
Yeah. Or your robot pants is the other kid, you know, which gets into probably some international problems. But yeah. So was that a core memory for you, do you think? Because that's fucking traumatizing. Pants and underwear?
Yeah. No. But okay. It was almost worse because I remember I had white Superman underwear with red piping, you know? It was like very stark, you know what I mean? And it almost would have been better if those went down with the pants.
You know, maybe it worked for you though. We don't know.
It's true. Yeah, it might have been whatever the opposite of slimming is.
Yeah, because I don't know. I mean, the robots thing, I guess, is happening, which feels like it's happening even faster than I thought it was. Like, I thought we were like 10 years out from robots, but we might be like a few years out from robots, which is fucking crazy.